Dr. Carolina? Mr. Brown? Mr. Johnson? Dr. Kane? Here. Dr. Modrak? Mr. Morello? Here. Ms. Novi? Mr. O'Brien? Here. Mr. Palmer? Here. Diane Amir? And Jonathan Kraft? Here. Quorum present.
Would anyone, one of our students, like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight? Would you like to come on up? All right. Everyone please rise. The flag is here. Go ahead. Please start us. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Mr. Tevis, please read the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law Statement.
The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to advance notice to attend meetings of public bodies and any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, Montville Township Board of Education approved this meeting. Notice of the meeting has been posted in the Montville Municipal Building, Montville Public School, the Montville Public Library, the Montville Township Board of Education Administrative Office Building, Montville Public School website, and advertised.
I'll turn things over to you, Jonathan Kraft, for your high school representative report. It looks like you're solo this evening.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit late. So the football team stands 1-5 with an exciting 20-13 win against West Millboro on September 23rd, but successive losses to High Point, Caldwell, and Jefferson Township since then. Their next game will be this Friday, October 1st at Pequannock. The boys cross country team placed an impressive second as a team at their most recent meet on Friday, October 7th at Greystone Educational. Three boys placed in the top 15, Doug Gorgorski, Joseph Desir, and Charlie Roy. Both the boys and the girls teams compete today at the conference championship meet. The girls soccer team stands 4-7-1 after a few tough goal concessions in the last few minutes of their recent games. The girls tennis team just today was announced the victors of their state sectional game 4-1. And the girls varsity field hockey team has their next game against West Essex tomorrow at West Essex.
The NCHS Forensics team competed at the Bronx Science National Tournament this weekend, where seniors Sean Talsball and Zach Feldman were both made the semifinals. Their next tournament will be at Basking Ridge High School next weekend. The first of several college fairs was held during school on Thursday, September 29th, for students in grades 10 through 12 in the college search process. Prior to the homecoming football game on Saturday, October 8th, the high school held its annual homecoming dance in the school cafeteria. There was an impressive turnout for the second year in a row, while seniors David Natnov and Van Ammer were crowned homecoming king and queen. Following the halfway point of the marking period last Monday, October 10th, the high school will be observing the district-wide no homework night this Wednesday, the 19th.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Dr. Rotar, Superintendent's report.
Okay, I'm going to go a little bit out of order on what's on the agenda. We do have a number of our Valley View fifth grade students. October is typically the month where we talk about violence awareness, and I always like the more positive spin of kind of focusing on behavior that we would like our students to model in terms of being good citizens within the school community. So I would invite the Valley View folks to come on up and give us your presentation.
First, I want to thank the board and Dr. Rotar for giving myself and several Valley View students an opportunity to present tonight. I also would like to thank our Valley View parents for bringing their children out tonight. They're absolutely wonderful. I also like to thank Dr. Kennedy for all she does and her tremendous leadership at Valley View. One of the great goals of One Montville and the partnership YEA and the United Way is to empower children to make a positive difference. One result of this is that for the past 2 years, fifth grade students have written and read daily morning announcements of positive messages, as well as to take pride in our school. So tonight, a talented and caring group of fifth graders will expand the anti-bullying pledge found on the back of the students' planners and share their thoughts on creating a bully-free learning environment for all. The following was read aloud to the entire school. And the pledge is up on the board, and it's also found on our students' back of their planner. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our reader.
I'd like you to take a look at Valley View's anti-bullying pledge. Ready? Great. Let's look at the top. Anti-bullying pledge. Let's break it down. Anti means against something, usually involves taking a stand or position. Bullying refers to the way someone mistreats and hurts others, and a pledge is about a promise or agreement. I've asked some of my friends to talk this evening to you about what we can do as a group to get rid of bullying behaviors in school, on the bus, on the playground, on the field, and even, dare I say, the bathroom. Wait, bullying is no laughing matter. This is serious stuff. So let's go through the anti-bullying pledge together. I will
speak out against bullying. Have a soft voice, a little shy, don't think you can make a difference. Will delete those thoughts. Children know about bullying always before adults hear of it. This is one reason why you must tell the bully to stop. Come on, we know you like to talk. So make a personal pledge that you're not going to stand by and allow someone to feel bad about themselves. If you're the one being picked on, try to be short messages.
leave me alone.
Stop it.
Who cares anyway? I'm tired of it.
I don't care what you say.
Cut it out.
Just do the Charlie Brown.
Remember, bullying the bully turns you into a bully too. So saying mean, hurtful things isn't a good response. Make this situation much worse.
Report bullying when I see it happen. We all need friends to support us and be there during tough times. No one ever said growing up is easy, but it is a little easier when you have people around you who care. If you see, hear, or read mean, hurtful comments, definitely tell that person to stop, but also report it to a trusted adult. This is not tattling, this is reporting. Be a good citizen. So, first tell the person to stop, and then tell that trusted adult right away.
Learn what is and is not bullying. Each of us have different ideas, opinions, and beliefs and values. Even twins don't always agree and see eye to eye. We all have our opinions on what we think is right. This is conflict and it is natural and normal. We can agree to disagree on things, but still remain respectful. It is when someone tries to, on purpose, hurt someone either physically or emotionally. That is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. We all have the right to feel safe, happy, and positive about coming to school.
Make others feel included and valued. Each of us is important and valued. Each of us is like a piece to a great puzzle. Without others, there cannot be soccer, foursquare, or wall ball game. Treat your classmates, teammates, and fellow students with the same respect that you want. These are not just words, but a way to live your life so that you will be included and valued.
Solve problems in peaceful ways. Most problems can easily be solved if both people are willing to listen to what the other person is saying and feeling. If someone is open to giving in just a little bit, then the problem is often fixed. An eye for an eye will leave the world blind.
Thank you for I comment on posts or forward messages. Cell phones and iPads are awesome. They are so fun, useful, and are a huge part of our lives. Cell phones and iPads can bring people together and enrich our lives. But when they are used to talk badly about someone else or spread rumors and gossip, then it becomes a bullying tool. Think before you click or send a hurtful message or comment about someone that don't participate in the bullying line. Remember, once you send a hurtful email, post, or comment, it can't be erased. Respect yourself by respecting the power of the internet. Internet is a real modern day problem. Be a part of the solution, not part of the problem.
I know I don't deserve to be bullied. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for others. Stand up for your school. Take a stand against bullying. We're all a part of the solution. Thank you for listening. And now I'd like you to recite our anti-bullying pledge
On three, ready? 1, 2, 3. Anti-bullying pledge. I will speak out against bullying, report bullying when I see it happen, learn what it is and is not bullying, make others feel included and valued, solve problems in peaceful ways, think before I comment on posts or forward messages. I don't deserve to be bullied. I just want to say they were so wonderful to work with. They practiced tonight on their own. They were here a few minutes early, and just think the world of them. And I know that the future is bright. So we have Gianna, Alessia, Madison, Ellen, Ellie, Matthew, Christopher, and Alexia.
Thank you all very much, and I'm very impressed by the thoughts that you gathered yourselves on this very, very important topic. I think you covered all the bases, and I'm very proud that you were able to share that message with your schoolmates at Valley View, and hopefully folks will also see through our YouTube video throughout the district the words that you have shared and take them to heart as we try to live in a bullying-free system. So thank you for taking the time and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Dr. Rofar. I want to thank Mr. Spector for his work. And students, when we walked in as board members, we saw all of you sitting together, figuring out how you were going to say what you were going to say. And that kind of teamwork, camaraderie, is also part of this message. But the message that you presented is a beautiful message, and one that moves from your school into all the schools in the district and the community. So thank you. Parents, thank you as well. Let's take a 2-minute recess, and then we'll get back together.
Just wanted to update, we do an update quarterly on all the projects we have 4 of them. The first one is a referendum goal, and I would report that the Finance and Facilities Committee has been working on this issue. We've had several meetings trying to zero in on the scope of a potential referendum. I think we are making progress in that regard. Just getting closer to Mr. Bradley here tonight that we will be bringing those issues to the board for a fuller discussion in the not too distant future. In terms of special ed costs, we have awarded a contract to a consultant to conduct that study for us. Jennifer Say and I had an initial meeting with her, trying to acclimate her to the district. She is setting up a series of meetings with various components of the special ed staff and to review their operations. So that is certainly moving ahead. The demographic study analysis at our last board meeting in September, we had a presentation by Dr. Grip. Since that point, last Monday, the demographic study task force, which is a group, I think, of about 25 people representing all of the schools, teachers, parents, administrators. We had our first meeting last Monday. We will be meeting again next Monday, reviewing the data that was included in Dr. Grip's report, taking a look at decision points that we might need to review and or make, and we will have a series of meetings hoping to wrap that up somewhere late January, early February. Our fourth goal in terms of world language, we did survey other Morris County school districts to ascertain what their programs are at the elementary level. We will be doing some site visits to other elementary programs in the near future, and we'll have a meeting at the high school level in November to kind of work making great progress towards the attainment of those goals. I wanted to make a brief commercial for the MEF, the Education Foundation, is having their fashion show this coming Sunday. If you have not already gotten your tickets, it's a phenomenal event at the Hanover Manor Sunday afternoon. So you can go on the website and track down the contact information and get yourself some tickets to that event. I also wanted to note on the agenda this evening, I'm very pleased to recommend the appointment of Bill Koch. Bill is here this evening as our candidate for the supervisor of physical education and athletic director position. Bill was the leading candidate through a very rigorous search process. And I am, as I said, extremely pleased and proud to make his recommendation to the board. So that being said, I would now like to turn things over to Dr. Shorter, who is going to present the annual update on student achievement for the 2015-16 school year.
Thank you, Dr. Rothbard. Good evening, everybody. This evening, I'm going to guide you through a brief presentation covering various performance points and accomplishments for our students last year. Part of this is going to incorporate standardized testing, which is PARC. Last year in December, we spent some time going through in detail the upcoming PARC and some of the things that surround that test. We're now through year 2 of that, and I'm going to share some of those results that we had, and also talk about some individual accomplishments by students, some team accomplishments through athletics, as well as individual student athletic accomplishments. So we're going to try to cover the full gamut, like I mentioned in a very brief presentation this evening. First, we're going to focus on PARC. And as I mentioned, last year's presentation focused a lot on that. We're going to touch a little bit on the scores. You're going to see some charts that may look somewhat familiar. But just as a refresher, we want to revisit some of the PARC objectives that we've spoken about. Some of the rationale that was given to us for the PARC. We heard a lot about college and career ready. And that's one of the things that the PARC is supposed to be measuring. Where are our students in relation to their college and career readiness? Also provides a district with different data points to help us guide instruction, to help us assist students that are perhaps weak in certain areas. So as an overall measure, not only college and career readiness, but the idea behind PARC is to provide our teachers, our administrators with some data points to help support the real-time instruction that's going on in the classroom to assist kids in developing and improving some of the areas that they need some improvement on. So those are some of the objectives that we really focus on as we look at the PARC results and administer tests throughout the district. Just a refresher course on the performance levels you're about to see in the next couple of slides. Where we fall as a district pertaining to these 5 levels. Number 1, obviously being a level where students aren't meeting grade level expectations, and then working your way through continuum ultimately to level 5, which is exceeding grade level expectations. For New Jersey, we consider levels 4 and 5 as levels where we want to be. We'd love to have everyone at level 5. But we consider 4 and 5 as that level of meeting or exceeding expectations. Some states that administer the PARC, they actually look at level 3 as meeting grade level expectations. We set the bar a little bit higher in New Jersey. Of course, we support that with our students here in Montville. So keeping these 5 levels in mind, the next 2 slides, I know it's a little tougher to see. This is each grade level, and I want to direct your attention to the right side of the screen. What you'll see all the way to the right in the white, that's the percentage of students in New Jersey at each one of those grade levels that scored 4 or better, 4 or 5 in that particular subject area, which in this case is English Language Arts. Right next to that, in the 2 green columns, you'll see the district percent, and that's in the black bold print. So as you can see, as you look through each grade level, and I think this has been pretty consistent. Overall, we score, obviously substantially better than state averages, or percentages in this case, of students that score 4 or 5. So while these numbers are, far above the state scores, this is something that we're always looking to move forward with. One of the probably big changes that we saw this year was in the participation rate. Last year, as you know, there was some controversy surrounding the level of participation, especially at the high school level. In our first year that we did this, to the point where the number of students that took the test was so limited that we really didn't do anything with that. The good part about the most recent administration of the test is that we've had a much larger sample size that participated in the test. However, it's tough to draw any conclusions from that now because it's really only year one full participation. So hopefully, the administration this spring, that'll give us 2 years of data to look at and compare, especially at the high school level, so we can make some better instructional decisions possibly to where things fell. But just as an example, for English Language Arts this year, we had, and we'll talk about 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. Grade 9, we saw 146 additional students participate in the last administration of the park. In 10th grade, we saw 202 students that participated above the level of a year ago. And in 11th grade, we had 159 students participate more than we had the prior year. So the one number that looks low up in there is grade 11, 194, if you look at that compared to grade 9 and 10. And that could be attributed to many students that are exempt from taking it because one, they may have already met that requirement, or two, they may be participating in advanced placement classes, and if that's the case, they're excused from sitting for the park. So naturally, you're going to see grade 11 numbers a little bit lower than the other grade levels. But substantial improvement in participation this year, which gives us a little bit better data points to look at moving into the future. And overall, our scores did, you did see a little bit of that sophomore bump in most grade levels in the second administration of the park this year. Next, we have math. And we probably saw some greater increases in math across the board than we saw last year. And just to look again at the participation levels, again, we had, in Algebra 1 at the high school, we had 128 more students participate this past year than we had the year before. We had 114 more geometry students participate in this administration of the park. And we had over 213 students additionally that participated in the Algebra 2. So we were happy to see that increased participation rate of high school students in those testing areas. And again, we do see some numbers that are a little bit lower towards the top, and that's related to the population of students testing in those areas. You see a big discrepancy, as we talked about last year, between the Algebra 1 sitting of Lazar students, where 98% of those students who took it scored in 4 or 5 level. And then the 9th graders or 10th graders in high school, generally, who take Algebra 1, they scored a little bit lower. But we know that in Lazar, those are very capable students that are in the honors programs there, that are very capable students, and obviously the test scores played that out. So that's the difference, discrepancy there in some of those numbers.
Would you like us to hold questions until the end?
Yeah.
It says, I'm open to my reps.
So just so clear, and for everybody, in case, I want to be sure, the 98, 48, 41 had Algebra 1 was on, 98%, 41% statewide is the reason for the 37, 41, 31 in our district, is because we've achieved those goals much earlier than all those other districts. That's effectively what we're saying.
Well, we broke it down by middle school and high school.
Right, so our students are achieving it
Right.
in advance of what a lot of other students of the school districts may.
Well, that 41% doesn't differentiate between 8th grade or above. We did it for our purposes. That's the state. All the students that took algebra in the state, whether they were middle school or high school students, achieved 41% of those students across the state, regardless of grade level, scored in the 4 or 5 range. We broke it down by middle school.
So are we, in curriculum-wise, sort of in advance of a lot of other districts? Is that effectively what's happening?
Yeah, I think districts like us, I think fair amount of students take and perform well on a full day. We do it. I think that's an excellent score.
Yeah.
I don't know where other districts like us, where their 8th graders might score in algebra. But yeah, 98%.
That's very impressive.
And that's been relatively consistent last year.
It's a very impressive concept that we're achieving it at that point. We're achieving it bizarre. That's one thing to say.
Yeah, not all students take algebra in 8th grade, but as you see, 134 students, that was our deal in 8th grade, and achieved that number.
Thank you.
Just some other numbers as far as standardized testing goes. Those are ACT scores, English, math, reading, science, and the composite. And generally, from this presentation 2 years ago, we did increase in 3 of those areas, reading, science, and composite, compared to 2 years ago. So we saw some improvement there. But again, compared to state and nation, we do outperform those data points, locally. And then the SAT scores, as you can see there, again, we outperformed the state and nation across the board in critical reading, mathematics, and writing. Interestingly, I looked back 2 years when I presented on these numbers before this evening, and while we did decline certain points in each one of those areas, coincidentally, the state and the nation in each one of those areas also declined in those specific data points. So whether that, specific to some changes maybe that they made in the SAT, but the drop was, while minimal, was consistent across our township as well as the state and across the country. So, generally we become more concerned when our scores drop and the state and the country don't, or they increase. But we saw drops across the board. Not quite sure why, but could have something to do with the test changes and things like that. But we're still happy with the results. I was looking to improve those. Moving away from some of the standardized testing data, we like to look at as a school for national merit data over the course of 3 years. This is 3 years worth of data where we had, as you can see, 10 national merit finalists, 10 semifinalists, 55 commended students, and 1 National Merit Scholar Award. And these recognitions are following the administration of the PSAT. They use the PSAT results and the PSAT responses from students to generate whether or not they qualify for this scholarship recognition or this merit scholarship recognition. And as you can see, we had a number of students over the past 3 years, qualify for that recognition. So we're proud of that, and that's generally been consistent here over the last couple of times we've talked about this area. Moving on to advanced placement, or AP tests. Our district offers AP exams in 25 subjects. As you can see, just about 80% of our students scored 3 or higher. And any score from 3 to 5 is considered passing and may be considered for college credit. It varies on college, but generally 3 is that cutoff point where students could possibly receive college credit for that score. And you can see that the large number of students that received 5, 129 students. That's the highest score you can get on the AP testing. And 181 students with a 4, and about that same number of students received a score of 3. So hopefully those students, the majority of them, are earning college credit and achieving scores 3 or higher.
What grade do you take those?
Casey, I'd like to hold on. We can have a public question session after.
Okay.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Please just hold the question.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
And also through advanced placement tests, and I have memorized these, so I'll share with you what each one of these categories stands for. We have National AP Scholars. We have 10 of those students. And that's any student who would receive an average score of at least a 4 on the AP exams taken, and scores of 4 or higher on 8 or more of these exams. So National AP Scholars average a 4 on everything that they took, and scores of 4 or higher on 8 or more of these exams. So these are students that took a lot of AP courses and did very well. AP Scholars with honors, we had 24 of those students. This is granted to students who receive an average score of at least a 3.25 on all AP exams that they took, and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more exams. So these students also took a fair amount of AP courses in their school year careers. AP Scholar with Distinction, we had 51 of those. This was our largest category. And those are for students who average at least a 3.5 on all AP exams taken, and scores of 3 or higher in 5 or more of these exams. So that's Scholar with Distinction. And then we had 28 AP Scholars, and those are students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. So very motivated students with many AP courses, and they score very well on AP exams on multiple tests at the end of the year. Moving on to some student accomplishments, I should say maybe non-academic accomplishments in the areas of clubs, so music and art. Our forensics team, as we've seen here over a large number of years, have continued to do a terrific job. We rank once again in the top 1% of schools in the country, and we're recognized as a school of honor in that area. That's really no secret to everyone. Our forensics team continually ranks up there, and the students really perform at a high level at many of the competitions. We had 7 high school students, art students, had their work selected at the Blackwell Street Artists 28th Annual High School Exposition, and we had a 1st and 3rd place out of that exhibition, so we were happy to see that. FBLA students, they won 1st place in 3 different areas and 4th place in another, and we were happy to see that all of our students qualified for nationals. So that was a nice recognition for those students that were involved in the FBLA. Additional accomplishments, we had a total of 4 students present at Humanities Symposium at Rutgers and Monmouth University from our science research program through Humanities. So they're quite an honor to be selected to present at the university level. So we're proud of those 4 students. And as many of you know, our marching band were national champions in band Group 3A nationals. So we're happy to have a 1st place finish in that event. So congratulations to our students on that. Moving on to athletics, the team accomplishments for last year. These are just highlights. Probably the first bullet is one that we are most proud of. We had 7 teams that received the New Jersey Athletic Conference Sportsmanship Awards, and you can see those teams listed there. That's something that we really hold in high regard. We're happy to see that not only do our students compete aggressively on the field, but they do it the right way. So we're proud of that. Other team accomplishments you can see there: district championships, county and conference championships with bowling, group championships in tennis, and of course track and field had some place finishes in states and county championships. So we like to see a nice balance of academic and student accomplishments as well as athletic team accomplishments. Moving towards more individual accomplishments, along with some team achievements, we also saw 114 athletes receive all conference recognition. As you can see, all county recognition in other sports, 31 athletes. 4 athletes received all group in the state, the Group 3 state recognition. We had 2 athletes through our programs that received all state recognition, which is quite an accomplishment. We had 6 athletes to compete in the meet of champions for track. And of course, 2 wrestlers made it to Atlantic City, competed in the state tournament down there. As an overall summary of our class of 2016, 90% attended either a 2- or 4-year college. It's a very high number and consistent, or above many districts like us. 3.1 of those students moved on to other areas, including the 4 areas listed there. So 97% moved on to 2- or 4-year college. And this is just a sample list of the last couple of years of some of the colleges that our students attended, have accepted to, I should say. There are many more. I just picked a random list of schools that I've kept appearing over the course of those 2 years. We close with this slide, which is a brief and just kind of an overall highlight of some of our accomplishments in academic, student, and athletic areas. Thank you. Any questions?
Any board member questions or comments?
Casey. Hello. There you go. Casey, I just want to say thank you because I'm not sure it's necessarily part of this presentation to include the accomplishments of our students in what we might consider non-academic areas, but I do appreciate the fact that you do include those because a good school district, a good high school, carefully balances the academics and the co-curriculars And I think it's important to highlight those when accomplishments are made. Certainly academic accomplishments should be highlighted, but it's nice to have those included in a report like this, so thank you.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yeah, I have a question and a comment. The way AP is set up now, are students required to take the AP exam? They can take an in-school exam, or they can take what's called the national exam?
Right, correct, they don't have to take the.
Okay, so there's other students could apply, all right. And my other just comment is, I think there's so much good news in this presentation. I really do. And I agree with my colleague here, that the balance that is presented and the opportunity, really, the balance is really opportunity that the students have for so many activities and things that they can participate. Some things are not even mentioned here, you know, not that there's so much. So I think there's a lot of good news in our district. I really feel that way. Thank you for your
Mr. Palmer?
Thank you, Ed. Still on? Just want to thank the administration. It's an excellent presentation. It's always good when our students are doing well. I just want to say a couple of things. Some of this is personal, maybe some of it's, something that people should be thinking about. But you know what? I look at the park results for the district and also the state. And I see statewide results that are well under 50% for a state that is probably the second best state in the country academically. And when I see over half of the students in our state failing these tests, then I have to say the problem isn't the teaching, the problem isn't the curriculum or instruction, the problem isn't the students, the problem is the test. I'm a strong proponent of standardized testing because you want to see how the students are doing compared to where their colleagues are doing, but what the test really should be used for is to then say, these are the results, why are the results what they are? Is it the teaching, is it the curriculum, is it the students? And if they're high, is it because our curriculum is good, is it because our students are good, or is it because we're teaching to the test? And just the way these test scores are abused in the state, to me, it's just a disgrace. And a lot of the teachers have said that PARC is an unproven test. In my opinion, that's incorrect. It is proven. It's proven to be a bad test. Because, again, when over half of the kids in the state are flunking these tests, the problem is the test. So, again, we have many great accomplishments, great AP scores, extracurriculars, SAT scores, our students getting into excellent colleges. I would just caution anybody about putting too much stock in these PARC tests, good or bad, because, as I said, I don't believe it is an accurate gauge as to the quality of instruction or curriculum. Which is my opinion. Thanks.
I don't disagree with you, but the fact that this may be the condition, what you say, is sort of more encouraging to me. If it is a faulty test, and our students are doing well, that says something in and of itself. And it might be about the instruction, it might be about the curriculum, it could be a lot of things. I don't disagree, but I'm not disheartened by what you're saying. Hopefully, the state will move forward in education, too, and make changes and improvements. But I still feel good about, if it is faulty and our students do well, that's almost a compliment to our students.
Well, I'm very encouraged.
Yeah.
I'm very encouraged about our student achievement. I'm just saying that when you look at the numbers, when you look at the tests, there's a large disconnect.
Yes, I agree.
And, the tests should be shaping the curriculum and instruction around the community. It should be, maybe shape the curriculum and instruction in order to achieve the purpose of doing all the tests.
So I had a few questions, Dr. Shorter, if there are no other questions. And thank you very much. Wonderful presentation, and certainly in so many aspects. I think anybody sitting in this room listening to this has to have such great pride for the students, the quality of the teaching administration in this district. With respect to the park test, is that administered to all the students?
All students in grades 3 through 11.
Every student?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, virtually, there are some students that are tested for multiple needs due to certain classifications and disabilities, but overall, generally all of our students are supposed to test. Again, we have the one change in 11th grade. Not all students have to sit for English language arts if they're participating in AP courses that qualify for, I guess you call it exemption for that. And some students elect not to do it, but generally, like we had talked about, our numbers were way up from last year, so generally they took those.
So in the 11th grade, and understanding that it was about half the class or so, a little bit less, more than half the class, but a lower number, the AP students who, as you said before, might be some of the more motivated students, are actually, some of them are not writing that.
Exactly.
So as you parse through the data, you have certain information that you gain. With respect to the ACT and the SAT scores, it would be wonderful over time, you could speak to it, but to see year-over-year numbers, to see where we're going compared to the state and other districts. But it's really nice to see numbers like that. We've always been way ahead of the curve. In terms of the AP placement tests, as you look at the numbers, 129 students and 581, now this could be some of the same students scoring at these levels. Is there a way we can see a breakdown of, sometime in the future for the board, of the AP scores on a basis of subject, AP subjects? Brilliant, nice. And I finally, two things in terms of colleges. It seems as if, and our numbers of that attend colleges are very strong, and in seeing that 86.1% of our students go on to four-year, it seems as if there is an increasing strategy amongst parents for financial or possibly other reasons to enroll students in two-year college programs as well. Is that correct? Is that
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of an increase in that.
Right.
Which I think points to safety, maybe, but that's
Financial, but other strategies as well. Yeah, and finally, looking at the list of colleges in terms of representation, it's a very, very impressive list. I see one Ivy school that's not up there, but otherwise, and even despite that, some incredible representation. And what's always been, and we've talked about this so many times over the years, is that in general, our students get into the schools of their choice at whatever level they're at, and that's what really is most important. It doesn't really matter which school, but being satisfied and being happy where they're going. Thank you. If there, Mr. O'Brien.
So we would have a complete list of colleges. This is a selected.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we would know, so for example, Boston College, this is acceptances. Maybe theoretically, the students who are there, maybe we went to UCLA. So that data exists also, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
There are, sadly, unfortunately, in the year 2016, and it's been a trend for a little bit, because of the high cost of college tuition, parents are making choices, the students are making choices, so it's not to have large loans.
And I
It's unfortunate.
I think that's why the county college has become a bargain, because you're going to get that 4-year degree from Rutgers in 2 years, which is expensive. I think that's a big factor.
Any other board member comments or questions? I'm going to alter normal procedure. I did, sir, you had a question, and I wanted to open things up. If you want to actually come up to the podium, introduce yourself, and feel free to ask the questions you have. If any other members of the public do have questions about this one item, please feel free to do so.
My name is Craig Grunke, and I have a 7-year-old at William Mason.
It's a great school. Congratulations.
It is, thank you. And this is my first meeting, so I apologize for speaking out short. But you guys do a great job. I really appreciate all the comments and information so far. I just wondered on the AP exams, what grades can take those tests?
The majority would be 11th and 12th grade. We do have 10th graders taking courses too. So generally 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, for the most part, we can pick up those numbers.
Okay, and then just one more question. Sure. What percentage of the students in those grades take these tests?
I don't have it by grade, but I think we're somewhere around 40, low 40s% of students take AP courses.
In the 11th to 12th grade.
Right.
In 11.
Which is the majority.
That's all I have.
Thanks. Dr. Shorter, you would say that 7-year-old might be a little bit early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lots of time to work on it.
Hi, Pete Porter, social studies teachers in the high school. I wanted to make a quick comment. I think it's great that we look at these numbers and that we have a discussion on advanced placement. I would like to point out that one of the beauties of Montville has been that we have not aggressively pursued students taking the exam and a fixation on scores. We've had a problem off and on with students who rack up the APs, and I've watched the meltdown of students who try to take 6 APs and then try to deal with PARC, as I pointed out last year in the discussion. So as you examine AP, I would just like to hold up the caution sign. It's great to look at it. It's great to look at the numbers, and I think it's important that we do well. But I would put in a strong urging vote not to get fixated on scores. I think while it's important to look at the data and analyze it, I think there's a value to AP as a college professor. I see students who come from the AP world and who are better prepared, who did not take an AP exam. They simply took the AP course, they didn't feel ready, they skipped it, or they aced my Western Civ or my US 1 or 2 survey because they had gotten extensive knowledge of the courses. So I know we're going to be looking at numbers. I know AP is going to play a role, which APs we want to keep, which APs may we not want to keep. But as I said, I just wanted to express a little caution as we analyze and digest this, that the importance of the APs, the college experience, the extensive exposure to the knowledge that's provided in the AP classroom. And they are going to take the test, and some of them won't bomb. I had a girl last year who worked her butt off, and she got a 2. And when she came back, she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry I let you down." I said, "You didn't let me down. You worked your butt off." She just got a 2, but she wanted to take it. And I don't want to get to a point where a teacher is discouraging a student to do it because they're afraid that that 2 is going to affect their own evaluation, not literally, but overall as a teacher in the district. So thank you.
Thanks. Any other comments? Or questions? Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I'm Mesa Dagash. I have a son in Cedar Hill. So I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here by asking this question, but I'm wondering, as we're looking at the test results and the PARC exams, all these things, how do you guys utilize that information to plan, at the elementary level as well as moving forward? Is that something you plan on covering as we move on tonight?
I might ask Mrs. Woodring, we do get a lot more information from the PARC exams than we ever got from, the HESPA or NJS. So would you like to speak to that?
Sure. The state actually provides us with a lot of different types of data. It does the individual student score reports. It does it by district. It does it by individual school, grade level. It also gives us evidence statements where we can actually see how our students performed on each question that was part of the PARC assessment. And then we can kind of chart that to see how we measured up district-wide, school-wide, state, and also the PARC consortium, which is consists of other states that use the PARC assessment. The teachers really seem to enjoy that data, and the supervisors, our teachers can then look at that and see Are we missing some standards? And it's all standards-based, so it ties it back to the standards which we use to drive the curriculum that we teach in the class, not the park test. It's important for us to know, are we teaching the standards that the state has set out for us to do? And they can kind of chart, you know, do I need to spend a little bit more time on this? How are our kids doing? Where have we really knocked it out of the park? And our kids are doing really well. So they appreciate that data, and I think that's the most useful because they can use it to plan their instruction. And it's relatively benign in the sense that nobody really gets, you know, very upset about it, because when we look at this data as it's charted, we do really well, and our kids are doing really well. So it's a matter of teachers just using it to tweak it, and I think they feel good about what they're seeing and what we're doing in our class, because we base our curriculum on our standards, and then from there, we're automatically just teaching the stuff that the kids end up seeing on the park assessments.
So it's more so the teachers are using the information, like individually to plan their lessons differently?
Yes, because, you know, the cohort of students has moved on, so we really can't do anything about the child, you know, and how well he did on his grade 3 park assessment if he's now in grade 4. But we can use that data if we see, you know, certain individual students who maybe we need to intervene. You know, we also use the assessment, I don't know if you know, we use iReady in our schools at the elementary level and the middle school level. That data is also aligning nicely with how the students perform. So we look at multiple data points, not just park, and then based on that, we can target some students who we feel need more intervention, and then we have a whole number of tiers of intervention if that's what we need to do. At the same time, we can see those students who are doing very well, and how can we modify the curriculum to get them to the next level, even if they're already working above grade level. So we try to use this data along with other data that we have, that the teachers do with the students in class, and then we look at the big picture, and then we make determinations about the entire student body as well as individual students.
Thank you. I feel like that probably contributes a lot to why we do so well. You know, just be able to actually use the data and on a level like, I feel like on a nuclear level actually in the classroom. Thank you.
So you are finding that park tests to some degree are helpful, correct?
There are some data points that are much more informative than the NJASC was. Basically, not very useful data. But I think the park is a nice complement to our income assessments that we have.
But, you know, whenever I ask something, I'm always concerned that whenever I ask for something, I'm always concerned how much work am I making for people, additional work. But going forward, not for this year, but in the future, maybe next September or sometime, it would be very interesting to see. I like this, seeing the list of acceptances, but I really would be curious, and I know there are a lot of socioeconomic reasons why students make decisions, you know, face friends, their money for family, all kinds of things. What schools they actually go to, like, did 7 kids actually go to Colgate, or as far as, you know, I'm not sure we have that, I would think. And the second thing is, I would be very curious to know, but not by name, students that received help, either in a music scholarship or a sports scholarship, and I would think we would have that data too. And that might be revealing, just moving forward. Now, if you have a lot of other things that you're trying to make more work, but it would be interesting to see how many of our students, because of their achievement, are receiving some sort of, you know, I don't want dollars or anything, but, you know, some sort of recognition, you know, that they're getting a scholarship to this school or that school, and where are the schools that they're actually going. Maybe they're being attracted to certain ones. I don't know, maybe the University of Colorado is a big one this year, based on. But I really would be curious to see that information next, August or September or something like that.
Thank you, Dr. Short. Thank you. Moving on, Mr. Chief, you have a report? No report this evening. Committee reports. Any, Mr. Morel?
Policy met. We went over a bunch of policies that just need some updating, crazy, and we'll be revisiting our cooperation with law enforcement agencies in the future.
Communications will meet November 2nd at 6.
Any diligent liaisons?
DAC tomorrow.
Morris County School Boards will meet November 9th. The keynote presentation will be safety and security. But for our board, I think it's important to note that the good news and sharing part of that meeting will be our own Marissa Castronova from Lazar Middle School. She's going to be presenting a program that she developed with a teacher, Jess Shackhill from Riverdale, I think. The project is STEM Pals, and this team of teachers who have worked on this jointly between the two schools has been awarded the NJEA Frederick L. Hip Foundation for Excellence in Education grant, and they are going to be presenting at the Teachers Convention. In fact, they're going to be presenting, I think, that very day that they're going to be them presenting for us at Morris County School Boards. So I just want to give a shout out to Marissa and hope that as many board members as possible can make that meeting, since it's one of our own who'll be presenting.
Thank you, Karen.
Just a date,
November 9th. Any PTC liaisons?
Could I just go back, since Mr. Grau is not here for finance, I did go to the finance committee meeting, was that last week, Karen? And I have to tell you, it was very educational, Mr. Davis, to have the auditor there explaining so many things to us regarding the state projects and so on. I really thought it was a very, very good meeting. Okay, just want to say.
Thanks. PTC liaisons, anyone?
I attended the Cedar Hill meeting on September 21st, and the school at that point was, while they had not yet received notice that they were a 2016 National Blue Ribbon School, the principal had received a phone call from the Department of Education asking for the correct spelling of Cedar Hill. So the writing was sort of on the wall that they were preparing the banner to honor Cedar Hill.
They don't have internet down there?
I guess they wanted to talk to a real person, and they couldn't blame the internet then. They could blame whoever got the spelling from. But anyway, the school was certainly abuzz with that, and so you all know the end of that story. They were awarded the 2016 National Blue Ribbon School, and they're very excited.
Thank you. It's a great award. It's something to be very proud of. Mike?
I attended Woodlawn's PTA on, I believe, it was September 24th. There's a presentation having to do with giving the parents information on the school's lockdown procedures in case of emergencies, which obviously a lot of parents are concerned about in this day and age. And Rosa discussed a number of other things, including the demographic study. And I thought that was a good meeting.
I want to thank Dr. Barbator for attending the last Mustang meeting. It was very helpful to have you there to, firsthand to hear some of the concerns that we had. And of course, there'll be a meeting again next month, that first Wednesday of every month. And of course, the high school PTC meeting is coming up on November 17th.
Very well, thanks. Any reports. I'll open the, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to report on, just to piggyback on what Dr. Rotar mentioned about the demographic task force that met on October 10th. David was there as well as Mike Palma. And I just want to compliment Renee for organizing and really help facilitate the data mining, presentation of the data, and how we're going to move forward. Renee, since you got here, you've really undertaken a number of projects, like One Montville, the Demographic Task Force, strategic planning, which is going to be meeting, I believe, next week.
And no, strategic planning is
Thursday night, right, Thursday night. And of course, your efforts to make us a sustainable school district. So you've really taken a lot, done a lot in the year and a half that you've been here. So just wanted to say thanks.
I think the board really would like you to be more motivated and more organized.
Just can't get out of bed, can't get going in the morning.
Maybe you could be the mascot at one of the football games.
Do you have a twin that you could do split up and?
I'd like to say though that, you know, since Dr. Rokar's study, she's been a very visible presence at so many of the school functions, at athletic events. I know she's planning on going to the MDF this weekend, and I know there's so many people that are very appreciative of the time and your visibility, and you've been a great addition to the district, and I just want to say
She doesn't like positive comments about herself. We'll move along to public participation for items on the agenda. Seeing as there is none, I'd like a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent for items I through O. So moved.
Second.
Second. Item I, minutes. Any board members have questions or comments? Item J, any comments or questions? Item F. I'm sorry, item K. Moving along to item L, personnel.
Just the regret of Joyce Janowitz retiring. I have a 29-year-old daughter who had Mrs. Janowitz as a music teacher, and she's just a great lady, great teacher. Wish her well in her retirement.
Any other board member comments or questions? And then item M. Item N. All right, roll call please, Mr. Tevis.
Mr. Morello.
yes.
Dr. Corlino.
Yes, except abstain, K1, check number 83628.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes, except with the vote now on item N1, policy 323.1.
Mr. Palmer.
Yes.
And Dr. King.
Well, I'd like to, item L31, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Fauch on this point. I'd like to vote, and wish you the best of luck. And I'd like to vote yes to all.
Motion's passed.
As we move along, are there any items for old business? General board comments? I'll just say last Friday, Dr. Mozart and I went to the Hilldale Court ribbon cutting, and it's a beautiful court, and we've talked about it, but what a wonderful gift to the students on behalf of the volunteers, the hardworking PTO also just wanted to mention that this is our only meeting this month, and in part because of the holiday last week, but also because there is the New Jersey School Boards Association workshop / convention, which a number of us will be attending down in Atlantic City. I know a number of us really look forward to that. It's a great learning experience and networking experience. If there are no other board member comments or new business, I'll open up for public participation. If anyone has any comments or questions, seeing as there is none,